In the last videos, we used lists with functions to work with data that worked because each value was independent. For example, a list of marks is just numbers 85, 30, and 72. But in real programs, values are not separate, they belong together. A student is not just marks. A student has a name, marks, class, and other details. That's why we use dictionaries. A dictionary represents one complete record, like one student. A list of dictionaries represents many records, like a class. Now functions don't work on a single numbers anymore. They work on a full record and use its field to make decisions. If you think of data like a table, a list of values behaves like a column, a dictionary behaves like a row. In this video, you will learn how to treat dictionaries as records, how to validate records before using them, how to apply business rules to records, how to safely transform records, how to process a dataset, and how to build simple data pipelines. Same thinking as lists, more structure, closer to real systems. Let's start with a basic example. We will define a function that takes a student dictionary as input and prints the student's name and marks. To use it, we create a student with name and marks fields. Then we call the print student function with this dictionary. When we run the code, the student's name and marks are printed exactly as expected. Real data is messy. You should never assume that every record is complete or well formed. That's why validation is important when working with dictionaries. Here we will define a function called isValidStudent. This function checks whether the required fields, name and marks exist in a student dictionary. We will test this in two cases. First, with an empty dictionary to see the negative case. Let's run the code. The result looks correct. Next, we test it with a valid dictionary to confirm the positive case. Let's run this as well. The output is correct. Instead of using an if condition before accessing a dictionary, we can use the .get method. This method returns none if the key does not exist. If the key exists, it returns the corresponding value. In our example, we can use student.getMarks to fetch the marks. If the marks key exists, it returns the value. If it doesn't, it safely returns none. .get function avoids crashes and it returns none if missing. Now let's apply meaning to the data. We will create a function called getResult that takes a student as input. Inside the function, we check the student's marks. If the marks are greater than 40, we return pass. Otherwise, we return fail. To test this, we pass in two students. One has marks above 40 to check the positive case. The other has marks below 40 to check the negative case. When we run the code, the first student prints pass and the second prints fail, exactly as expected. Same as list, changing the original dictionary inside a function is not a good idea. For transformation, make a copy of the original dictionary, modify and return it. Let's understand it with an example. We define a function called addResult. Inside it, we copy the student dictionary. Then we add the result field using the getResult function. Finally, we return the updated dictionary. When we use the function and print the result, we get a new dictionary with the extra field. The original dictionary stays unchanged. Let's understand this with a real data example. We have a list of students. Each student has a name and marks field. Every student is represented as a separate dictionary inside the list. Now let's say we want to write a function that returns only the students who passed. Inside the function, we first create an empty list called passed students. Then we loop through the students list. For each student, we check whether the marks are greater than 40. If they are, we append that students to the passed student list. When we pass the full student list into this function, the output will be a list containing only the students who passed. Now we transform each record. We define a function called addResults. Inside the function, we create an empty list called updated. Then we loop through the students list. For each student, we call addResult and append the returned dictionary to updated. At the end, we return the updated list. When we use this function with past students and print the result, we get the transformed records as expected. Aggregation summarizes the dataset. We define a function called average marks. Inside the function, we initialize a total variable. Then we loop through the students list and add each student's marks to total. At the end, we divide the total by the number of students and return the average. When we use this function and print the result, it shows the average marks for the dataset. Now you have seen the three core data steps: filter, transform, and aggregate. Now let's see common beginner mistakes. Beginners often assume keys always exist. They mutate original records, they mix validation with transformation, and they duplicate logic everywhere. In this video, we learned about dictionary operations. In the next video, we will learn about set. Thanks for watching. I am Aksa Zafar, and on MLTude, I teach data science and machine learning in a simple step-by-step way. Practice a little and I will see you in the next video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to MLTude for more AI and machine learning tutorials.